Did you know that in development, Half-Life 2 featured a friendly alien that would follow Gordon Freeman around, feasting on the bodies of fallen enemies? It was taken out when Valve discovered that the AI would be too difficult to program. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 23. My name is Gareth Briley. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How, James?
Hello.
Hello.
You all right?
And on my virtual right is a newbie to these podcasts, Mr. James Bentley. How you doing, James?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Good. It's really confusing now because I've got two James B's, which is unusual in a podcast.
Everyone's calling me James 2. I'm all right with that.
James 2. Is that what they're calling you? James 2.
Yeah, in the doc.
What can I call you? I can't say James 2 on this. Sounds like
You can call my second name if you like.
Just Bentley.
Yeah, I'm right
with
with
that. Good.
That's classy.
Good, I like that. James and Bentley. Sounds like a rock duo from the 1988-89. James and Bentley. Soft rock classics.
Incredible.
Yeah. Okay, James, we normally do a whole getting to know each other. I've got a dossier on James and Neil and Richard, so I'm just going to ask you this week some questions, really basic ones. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like a sort of mild interrogation. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's it's a
We,
little bit scary, but all right.
I don't leave bruises. I just sort of like okay.
Just virtual ones.
Virtual bruises. So James, how old are you?
I'm 21. Got that one right.
Ah, youngster. See, James, we've got another youngster like you.
No, younger than me.
I know.
I'm good. I feel old now.
I know, 21. And James, what are you doing apart from being a great journalist for the Xbox Hub? What's the other?
There you go. That's a cheeky plug.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose outside of that, I do a little bit of law and media, I guess, in regard to that kind of front. But I'd say it's mostly gaming. is the majority of my existence at this point.
A big love of gaming, of course.
Yeah, basically.
And where are you from? Whereabouts in the country?
See, I'm actually from Peterborough originally. If you know whereabouts that is.
I like Peterborough a lot. Yeah.
Ooh. But I've been kind of all around, so maybe my accent might be a bit deceiving.
Peterborough is the official centre of England.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. If you oh no, that's not Peterborough. That's Northampton. Sorry, forget me.
Oh,
damn.
That was going to be my go-to introduction line from now on.
What other facts have we got about Peterborough? Have you got any more off the top of your head?
I know they call them Posh, their football team.
That's right.
And I think Posh Spice once tried to sue them for that name or something, but I remember them all being up in arms, but that's about all I remember.
I remember something like that. Yeah, I'm sure there was something like that. Okay, here's your next question. What's your favourite game, if you had to pick one?
See, I think as long as you've got a needlessly long JRPG, that'll probably be up there. I'd say it's probably somewhere between Persona and Dark Souls, maybe. I think would be my two favorites.
What do you like about the Dark Souls? Do you like the kind of like the challenge of it?
Actually, not really so much. I don't really. I think there's a real like gratification you get for beating a boss. Like I don't think I've really had a fist in the air like yes, like I have beaten Dark Souls bosses. But I like that I'll spend 3 times the amount of time I spend playing Dark Souls like looking at the lore. Like I've got like 300 hours in the game or whatever, and like 1,000 in the lore or whatever, you know, because it's just so deep.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's almost like reading a book or something, like the way you kind of take it in, and it's really good.
And it's not just given to you, is it? On a plate, it's your.
Oh no, nothing's given to you in Dark Souls.
Okay, good. That's good. Your favourite movie?
Now this is a bit of an obscure one, to be honest. I think off the top of my head, it would be 1976's The Network. If you've ever seen that.
Do you know what, James? This is awful. This is me being ageist. I never expect you to say that. That's
Really?
amazing. Yeah, Network's amazing movie. Tell us about the Network for people who don't know.
I'm actually really happy someone else has seen it. It's so good, and it's like, see, I don't want to like talk about it too much because either I'll ramble on for no reason or I'll end up spoiling some of the good parts. But it's incredibly kind of pathetic of like kind of the way that sort of TV sort of, to be a little bit cynical, kind of exploits people for kind of its views and its money and things, and it does it like incredibly well. Like if you look at, even to, again, not to be too cynical, but like the reporting of coronavirus and things, I think you could probably tie those two in together. Like there's always like a little bit underneath to say like, oh well, they're reporting because they want views as opposed to reporting because of reporting, and it's incredible. Despite going on a bit of a pretentious rant about it, it's really good.
James, have you seen it?
Surprisingly, no.
You should see it. It's got one of the best opening monologues.
Oh, I mean, every monologue in it.
Yeah, every monologue, but the famous one.
I'll put it on my long list.
Yeah, the Network. But it is. I think Bentley's right. It's really kind of an amazing kind of insight then in the 70s of where we are now in TV.
Yeah, incredible. 20, 30 years before like proper, like that kind of Big Brother style TV and stuff. Like the way it kind of talks about that is really interesting.
Yeah. Just on a tangent, really quickly, are we aware that the Big Brother team who are in Germany in the house at the moment?
Yeah,
are getting told on Friday live on air about the coronavirus.
Imagine that. It's a little bit like have you seen Dead Set?
James,
that series.
James was talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that.
You just stay there, wouldn't you? You go right. We'll stay here for the next however long it takes.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the topic. Good, great movie. Favorite TV program.
Oh, favorite TV. See, I think what I find myself watching the most would be sort of kind of derivations of comedy a lot. I wouldn't say comedy is my favorite genre, but I think maybe Community, if you've ever seen that, is an incredibly funny and charming show, and I think that might be my favorite TV show.
James, you've seen that, haven't you? We've both seen that.
Yeah, I think it starts off brilliantly. It dips after about season 3.
Season 3, yeah. You know what? I think 5 and 6 got better. They're way better than I thought they'd be.
Once you get used to it and the characters that are missing, it does get a bit better. But it's a great show.
I wasn't expecting so many of these to get like receptive feedback on. I definitely wasn't expecting anyone to know the Network.
I'm old. I'm old, you see. I went to the premiere.
Wow.
I didn't get a videotape.
Yes.
It was still
yeah. I was co-writer. Yeah. Now, the last question, and it's going to be a nice, simple one. When you come on next time, they'll be much more horrendous, like I normally have.
Ooh,
it is really easy.
If you could take one item with you to a desert island, one item, what would it be?
Can I clear up a couple of caveats first?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
With the item, would it come with the necessary things to use it? So, say if I picked something with it, which is like electronic, would it come with electronic things? Like electricity, a way of getting electricity, let's say.
Yeah, let's say that. You can get electricity.
See, I think part of me wants to go the boring option and like a book on survival, but I think that's not fun. I feel like, what could be good? I feel like a Segway would be kind of funny, so maybe I'd pick a Segway.
So you're on a Segway on an island?
Yeah, I don't know, looking for coconuts or whatever. Could be fun.
So would you show me a Segway? Call it Wilson. A Segway called Wilson going around on the island.
I could draw some eyes on it, a smiley face. Yeah, sorted.
Oh, that's another movie. There's a movie coming here. I like it. Segway. Yeah, good. Love that. Thank you very much. That's a good start. James, you got any questions you want to ask?
Yeah. What did you pick for the island question?
I can't remember what James picked. Can you, James?
It's probably something ridiculous.
Yeah.
As good as a Segway?
Oh, probably a lot worse than that.
Yeah, I don't know what it would have been. Something dark and brooding.
Probably a K-pop CD.
K-pop, yeah.
I like the idea of like there's no like tape player or disc player or whatever. So it's just the CD.
I'm staring at the pictures on the front. That's it. Dreaming.
We're going to launch straight into a couple of things that happened this week on the new console front. One that happened, I think, probably Monday, and one that happened about an hour ago. So we're recording this on Wednesday. Very well. And the first one is...
Magic is now spoiled.
Yeah, magic behind the curtain. And the Xbox Series X, the specs came out and a couple of little videos about how it works. I'm not going to go through the specs. I'm just not interested in all that stuff. You two? Do you know, is that a really big interest for you two?
I mean, I know how many teraflops it has, and that's about it.
Everyone keeps saying it's more powerful at the moment. It's the most powerful console at the moment.
Actually, one thing I do think is actually worth mentioning is the SSD storage. I think that's basically the only thing I really care about there, and I'm glad that they are moving to the SSD.
Are they both moving to the SSD?
They are, yeah. The internal for the PS5 is 825 gigs, and then the Xbox Series X is 1 terabyte, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, that swap is good, especially for those the holding the 5 games at one time thing. Like, it's going to do wonders for that.
Okay. And the other bits that I can kind of see from the Xbox, first of all, is they showed a kind of demo, didn't they, about it going back to the game, so you can
quick resume.
I said quick resume.
Yeah.
And did they show a demo? What did they show a demo of for that? You see the little video.
I think they might have done. I think they showed 5 games, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I like the idea of that because I feel like I'll sometimes at like just before you go to bed, but you want to play a little bit more, I might like stick on Rocket League or something and then think, no, I should be playing this, and I end up booting up like 6 different games. So I kind of like that idea because I'm incredibly indecisive.
Good games as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Forza. I think they did Forza and was it Ori and the Blind Forest and something else.
Yeah.
There's quite a few games that just went straight into exactly where they were.
Yeah,
and they said they could take it off for a week. Take it back on.
Yeah. And they
said
said
exactly the same place.
Turn it on for a week and take an update and then still do it, which is the big thing.
Is amazing. Yeah.
They did the loading times demo as well, which is really cool. Which no doubt is due to the SSD, I'd say.
What game did they show? I think it was DayZ.
Division 2, right?
I thought it was DayZ.
I think it might be State of Decay, actually. Sorry, I got it wrong.
Decay.
Yeah, it's State of Decay. And it was like a good minute faster or something.
Yeah, it just seemed to go on forever. We just watched a black screen on the other side.
Yeah, I think it'll make us realise, going back to the Xbox One X, how slow those load times are when we're moving between the two.
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest advantage, isn't it? Not having to wait.
Yeah, it's going to ruin the X for us, I think.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's going to, it's going to completely, you're all going to want it and you're all going to want that kind of quick time, really.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that I've noticed, that it's a feature that it's worth buying the X Series X for.
Yeah.
I hate waiting for anything.
Same.
So, if you can get me in that game in milliseconds, then I'm going to upgrade instantly.
I'm going to tell you a story to sit around the campfire about the past. In the days of the ZX Spectrum, which was in the 80s, right? You used to, it was a little
Even I know what that is.
You used to have to load your games by a tape recorder, right? Attached to it. And you used to press play, load it on, and you might as well go off, go for a walk, have a bath. Maybe sometimes it took 3 to 4 hours to load each time. Quickest one's about 45 minutes.
And you had to do like rudimentary code just to get in, right? Like some weird, like
sometimes
basic coding.
Yeah, basic coding, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And sometimes the tape recorder just used to go wrong 35 minutes in. So you had to get the right volume pitch. If it was too high or too low, just crash it. So you do So that's what I remember. So all this is like Star Trek for me. It's great.
Have you seen how big it is though as well?
Oh yeah. Tell me about this.
I couldn't believe it. Someone said they used a banana to show how big the console is. I thought I'd been silly here. I looked at it, and the banana is almost stretched all the way across.
Wow.
That's how small it is compared to the current one.
And didn't they compare it to a fridge as well?
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
minuscule.
I mean, there's the two units of measurement. I only ever use bananas and fridges to measure my
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Who doesn't these days?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the
Well-
American system? They use the bananas, we use the fridges.
Yeah. But I think it's 15 by 15 by 30 in centimeters.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's practically half the size of the Xbox One X.
yeah. I was a little bit worried that would be huge, but it's nice
Yeah.
to see it's not.
Yeah, that's definitely peace of mind. So it wouldn't fit anywhere
Yeah,
because it's so big.
I actually kind of love how it looks. It took me a little while to get used to it, but like it has a real Xbox way of looking like a powerhouse, which is cool. Like they always kind of do that.
Mm.
Without being too big. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So there's the Xbox. So that's the
Hey,
Xbox. That's what
You
we
did
said.
forget one thing.
Oh, go on. Tell me.
The memory cards.
Oh, yeah. Tell me
Oh,
about the memory
yeah.
cards. Tell me about the memory cards.
I've only seen them, but I think they're called proprietary cards
Oh, yeah.
space. But they are basically memory cards from the old PlayStation days, I'd say.
You cut out a little bit there, James. Tell me again. What was
Yeah.
that?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
They are proprietary cards.
Ah,
That's what we're calling them.
right.
But they're basically memory cards that you'll plug in to get more hard drive space.
So
So
it's,
right back on the PlayStation days.
so we don't know what the size of this is at the moment, do we? How big these cards are going to be? So they're going to be.
I'm not sure they've revealed that.
What I do know is they're going to be expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
Will they be more expensive than a storage unit you can buy separately? That's the
Probably.
thing.
But you can use external,
You can use external.
Yeah.
Good.
only for games that aren't optimized for Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I was about to say
really?
there's some strange caveat, isn't there?
Yeah, they've really. It's to get you to buy their accessories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a-
no, they
it's
have
hard.
promised identical performance to internal storage there, which I mean, that's not bad. At least
No,
you're not noticing any difference.
depends how much they cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which
but we still don't.
We
Sorry,
don't,
what?
Sorry, that's it. We don't know anything yet, do we? About cost.
No,
wise?
we don't.
No. Let's go on. Any more anything on the Series X? No.
I can
Happy?
think of.
No.
I think that's about it.
PlayStation. So an hour at 4:00 today, I think we watched or we've seen or we've looked at the clip. We watched PlayStation Deep Dive,
Yeah,
which sounds a lot more exciting than it was.
yeah,
Can you describe what we saw for that hour?
yeah. I think it most of it was felt like someone speaking a different language to me. To be honest, it's just a dude in front of a podium. But I mean, I heard ray tracing a couple of times, so that's
Ray
nice.
tracing. That's my favourite man. Ray tracing.
Was he in the house?
He was back. Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, for people who haven't seen it, you've got one of the architects of PlayStation in front of
Mark Cerny.
in front of a kind of virtual set, which is like a podium and some ghost audience, like silhouettes of an audience that are not real there.
That's a bad cutscene from the 90s.
It does. Yes. What was that game? That Wing Commander. It reminded me of that. Do you remember that? The FM.
Even Grand and Conquer.
Yes.
Even that.
Oh, FMV trailers would be incredible.
Yeah.
Like where they give you 10 seconds to decide what to do next or whatever, and they look into the camera.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's what it
similar
looked
to
like.
that. Yeah, big time.
And he basically gave quite an intense talk about a lot of detail about the kind of hardware and about how it works, and it was like a open university lecture. It was like an online lecture.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
There was no way it was meant for me and you
No.
and the regular gamers. That was for
Yeah.
developers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
was marketed completely wrong, I think.
Absolutely right.
And now people are like, what the hell was that? They've almost done... They've done themselves no favours doing it that way.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of glad it exists there, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably
Yeah.
going to take a couple of hours to even really understand what a lot of that is.
Yeah.
Just like little Googles and things, you know.
Yeah, he broke it down, but it was still quite techy.
It's one
Yeah.
point, it's one point where he went, let me make it easier. And he went, no, please. And he just didn't. He made it more harder. I was completely lost.
Yeah, and he explained the custom chip, and he was like, "This one's capped at this. It's got 10.3 teraflops," and it's like those are cool numbers. But I mean, I imagine if you go to the layman, they're not going to know what a teraflop is.
No
Like,
context.
what's the difference between one teraflop? You know?
And there's lots of graphs and really
Yeah.
in-depth
And a kraken.
diagrams. A kraken, yeah, that burnt up there.
That was the best bit. the
What
kraken.
I loved was that when I was watching the live chat at the side of one of the things,
Yeah.
and the live
Yeah.
chat began before it started with all the people going, I'm going to give you all my money now. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And then 10 minutes in, it was just people going, what? Snores. And then I think they lost like 50k of people just
Yeah.
went, wow, that's amazing. Amazing.
I think it's so good to see all the people drop out.
I think it's exactly what you said, James, when you said it wasn't meant for us. They marketed it. It's not a great marketing thing.
No, they picked it up for something it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think not that we're Xbox, we like our Xboxes, but we're not like Xbox. I think me and Bentley, we play PS4 a lot, don't we? So
Yeah,
and Xbox did it in a better way, I think, by releasing their sketches and doing a couple of short videos, really, didn't they? It was a much more
they've
marketable,
always been a bit
thing.
more flashy.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been like all sports cars and, look at it from this side and like kind of blues rock music or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think PS5 maybe needed a little bit of that, just a little bit more flashiness.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think the things I picked out was the big thing they would say was that working with developers, which
Yeah.
I think they've all working with developers. I can't imagine.
Well, you don't, so. It's like, we don't know what you want. We don't care. This is what you've got.
Yeah.
Actually, all three of the things they said at that point all felt like wishy-washy marketing terms. There was listening to developers, balancing evolution and revolution, and finding new dreams. And all of those are like buzzwords,
Yeah. And when they were talking about the whole SSD, which you two know more about, they were talking about it being 100 times more faster. Is that right? It gives you 100 times more faster something.
See, I'd say probably. I don't personally know enough to really know, but I'd say it probably does. I mean, SSD tends to boot up faster, tends to run, the OS faster. I don't know about 100 times, but I mean, I'd say they
a lot faster
somewhere. Yeah, a lot faster.
He was saying at that point, this is what I grasped. He gave an example of the Spider-Man game, and he said in the Spider-Man games when you play it, it does the loading screens in between. It puts Spider-Man on the subway, and you kind of wait there. So, and he said it will be instant. You'll just go. There'll be no loading screens. You'll just go straight to the thing. That's what he said. That's the goal. Or that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that was the selling point of that idea.
And he even said it might be so fast that you might have to put something in there to have a loading screen. Which I kind of went, okay. It's like electric cars. When people in electric cars, they have to make the sound of the audio so we can hear them. Yeah.
I imagine it's like on, I know it's not PlayStation that we play on, but PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. If you turn them around quickly, everything will be there rendered.
Yeah.
On new consoles.
Yeah.
Whereas now it takes a bit to come into focus, doesn't it? And
it was interesting when he was just talking about if you design a game, you kind of make twisty turning corridors that are low on textures so it could get you to the next place, so you wouldn't have to do that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's good that they're both going to benefit from that as well.
Yeah.
Just one console.
Yeah.
I think it is going to change the way that a lot of developers see that. Like, you can see developers putting like things to stop you from moving so fast and things like that just to prepare the game. And I like the idea that, like, to give them just a little bit less tethered, let them kind of do what they want a little bit more. I think that's exciting. I have no clue where it goes. Like, I'm sure in 7 years' time or whatever, what the PS5 and Xbox Series X are doing is going to be incredible. When developers actually get used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the last thing to talk about here is they want our ears. They want photos of our ears and videos of our ears. Did you hear this?
It's a bit strange.
Did you all switch off by this? Was right there.
Some kind of new fetish.
Yeah, it was. They're basically got this audio technology that they're developing. So it will. I was honest. I'll be honest with you. I was losing it at this point. And
so about 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and it's the point of the audio is that it would feel like there's things going on in the real world that you think's in the game. So your ears, but it will be each ear will be different how it responds to it.
please forgive me, PlayStation, if you live. But they want to kind of research it. They said it's an ongoing project, so they want you to send them photos of their ears and videos.
I'm probably not going to do it.
No.
Gotta be honest.
Yeah, you sure you were watching the right stream?
Maybe
It's
I was
not just some random dude on
That was
YouTube
the
asking
next
for your
video
ears.
afterwards.
Send your ears.
Send your ears. I'm sure that's right. Maybe I've got that wrong.
Yeah, sure.
Now, so that's a two. The big question I'm going to ask you two now before we move on is, with the virus and the pandemic that we're going through at the moment, the lockdowns,
Right, yeah, I'm vaguely aware of it.
vaguely aware of it, do you think these are going to come out in November? Now, PlayStation said today that they're confident that it will still go ahead for them in the Christmas 2020.
Can't see it.
You can't see it, James.
Yeah,
If we're not going to have the money. If
Right.
we
Yeah.
afford it after being out of work or, for however long, it still might not be over by then.
Yeah.
We don't know how long it's going on for, so
yeah,
I think
agreed.
it'd be silly to expect it.
To be a bit cynical, like, to be honest, like, this is heading us to if not a recession, then at least worse. So it would feel strange to release them now because they just won't sell as well as next year or the year after or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I suppose the whole year has been planned around the consoles, game-wise and games release-wise.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about it before in the podcast. We've got a load of games that will get talked about from May onwards. The whole schedule from September, October are all geared towards the new consoles, aren't they? So it changes. It's like everything with this pandemic. It's like everything has got a knock-on effect, and everything is changing rapidly all the time. So it will be interesting to see what they're doing. But I absolutely agree with you. I think it's it's taking the fact that people won't have the money to do it, to get them.
And it won't be a priority either. Because people can get by with what they've got already.
Yeah.
It was lovely to have a new console with, shorter resumes and quicker patching times and all this stuff. But, people got to eat.
Yeah.
And in the aftermath, money's going to be tight.
Yeah. I as well as that, I feel like, sorry, I think the first maybe 6 months to a year of development, we aren't really going to see that big of a difference between the two anyway, because people aren't used to it, the developers aren't used to it. So I think a lot of people aren't going to justify buying the Series X until there's some like true exclusives and stuff on there yet.
Yeah.
Because I know they're kind of going in between, which is a good idea. It's a good idea to kind of cross-release. But I personally don't know if I could see the point until I have a 4K TV and a bit more time and money,
Yeah. Good.
So I think that's some
Okay.
issues.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens.
Who knows?
We'll see a bit more. Maybe they're released. Well, maybe PlayStation will actually give us a look what it looks like, and then because we haven't seen it yet, have we? We actually seen the console yet, have we?
Hopefully they'll compare it to a banana. And then we'll get a good idea of how big it is as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping
That's
the
what
banana
that
and
is.
fridge are in some way involved in the marketing campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, if it isn't, they should at least go for an apple
Oh, that'd be good.
and maybe a washer
Yeah.
or something.
I like that.
Maybe instead they were just trying to measure the size of the banana. Maybe it was an unusually large banana, and like, what do we have here that we know the size of? Well,
Yeah.
an Xbox Series X is 30 centimeters, so a banana's got to be at least 20.
Yeah.
It's just in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
It got the job.
Xbox Series X for scale.
Really, mascot.
Yeah.
The console.
I like the fact they just got banana lying around. It's good. Okay, right. We're going to move on. Right. What have you been doing this last week? Let's start with James first of all. James, what have you been doing?
Well, as you can imagine, not an awful lot.
No.
It's very much time for isolation, isn't it?
It
These
is,
days.
yeah. Yeah.
But I'm looking to watch films, something uplifting. So I went for Doom Annihilation.
Sorted.
And I've never played Doom games, so I have no idea about the lore or anything like that. It was actually a decent film. It's basically a story about scientists who find these two gates between Earth and I think it's Phobos. one of the moons of Mars. And basically, once you open these gates, all hell is unleashed.
I think you're talking this film up a lot better than it is.
Yeah,
You're
I'm pretty sure I've seen Doom Annihilation.
Yeah.
And I don't remember liking it very much.
And I think I love the way you're talking about a film that's been out for a long time, and you're
Breaking news.
you're selling it like it's an Oscar winner here.
It's only a year old.
When are we going to see the?
Is it?
But yeah, it was given 1 star on Sky.
Oof.
So I was pleasantly surprised when it was okay. I
Good.
thought for a low budget sci-fi film, I think it did a decent job.
Is it low budget?
Yeah.
Is that by any chance? Is that Uwe Boll or whatever his name is?
No.
That?
No.
I wish he
This
would
one
have.
is Tony Giglio.
Oh,
Yeah, it only came out last year.
Was The Rock in a Doom movie? That's what I'm getting
The
confused
first
with.
one, yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm
That was terrible.
I'm getting confused now. Sorry,
That was
sorry,
terrible.
James, for dissing your new Doom movie.
Yeah.
I'm also confused. I got the wrong movie.
We both dissed you and said, but this is obviously up for Oscars next year.
This is the more straight sci-fi kind of.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you recommend it? Is it a James recommendation?
Well, it had some Easter eggs in it,
Okay.
like Wolfenstein and that.
Oh,
You thought it was quite cool.
good.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all
I'll
right.
give it a 3-star.
Okay, good. And
Don't mind.
because I've forgotten for the last couple of weeks, Korean. Now, Bentley, you might know, James is learning Korean. So, have you got anything for us this week?
To be honest, I'm so rusty.
I know, 'cause I haven't asked you anything.
I literally have nothing prepared. Oh. And no, I got nothing.
Okay, fine.
Did you get a chance to watch Parasite? Just a little aside. I thought that was incredible.
It was one of my favourite films of recent years.
I think it probably deserves that.
Yeah, it was terrific.
And Bentley, what have you been playing? What have you been doing this week? Not what you've been playing. What have you been doing? We've gone.
See, I wrote down in the doc to go behind the curtain. I wrote down time with family, more importantly, time with games, which I think is true. But also outside of that, you was talking about TV. Now, see, when I was a kid, I remember very distinctly watching Doctor Who, but I'm not really very aware of it, and I never really saw it. So I thought I would try a little bit, and it's way better than I thought it'd be. It's still kind of cheesy, a little bit child-friendly, but I actually kind of really like it, which I wasn't expecting to happen.
And where did you start? Because I've not seen any Doctor Who for a long time.
I started with Christopher Eccleston.
Oh, okay,
I think his
yeah.
name was.
Yeah.
And honestly, see, I stopped watching it when I was a kid because I was like, I was a kid who thought he was grown up. Where I'd be like, no, I'm too grown up for this now. It's too childish, and like. It's just really like enjoyable and cathartic. Like it just has a little bit of like kind of wholesome cheesiness to it at points that's really enjoyable, especially being like isolating and stuff. It's a nice nostalgic watch actually. So I've been watching that.
Oh, good. So you got a lot of them to watch. What was it? 25.
I've got too many of them to watch.
Yeah, loads of them. James, you a Doctor Who fan?
No. I tried one time.
Shut down.
Shut down, gone.
I actually did try and watch. I think it was Christopher Eccleston that was in it back in the day.
Right.
But no, not for me.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. It just didn't connect.
That's fair enough. I think I like it. I think some of the storylines are way better than I thought they'd be. There's a particular one. If you ever do go back, I would check out. It's called like In the Fireplace or something. I saw that and I was like blown away. I was like, actually, that's really, really good, and I wasn't expecting it to be. The Girl in the Fireplace. If you do have a chance, I thought that was like really strong, like as strong as some movies are, and I really wasn't expecting that. So I'd try that out.
Sometimes you can pick the wrong episode, can't you? Sometimes.
Oh, totally. Yeah, there's some pretty terrible episodes.
Yeah, as with every series.
Yeah, Community for one.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well,
Well,
right.
what have you been watching?
Well, for the last week, I have been trying to work out what we're doing work-wise for the next 4 months. So there's been a lot of that. Because I work in the entertainment industry, and so all work has stopped. All theatres, all film, TV is all shut down. So I have been trying to negotiate that. That's all I've been doing, trying to move. I'm busier now than I normally am, trying to sort this out. So I'm sort of like waking up at 7 and starting email. So yeah, because everything's got to shift to the autumn. But we don't know if anything's going to be open then, but we just have to assume that it's all happening.
And hope so.
Yeah, because it's all like backlog of stuff. So it's a strange, weird time. So that's what I've been doing. But I hopefully can start to... What have I been watching? I'm still watching Better Call Saul, catch up with that. Still on The Walking Dead, which actually I'm enjoying much more now than I have.
Is it better?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's really good.
What season are you on?
Must be what are we, 10 or 11 or something? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's very different to where it started, but it's good. I quite enjoyed the last few. Yeah, so that's been me really. I'm sort of still let's talk about what we've been playing. Let's talk about it. Let's start with Bentley. What have you been playing this week?
Oh, I wasn't. So I got 3 for you to try not. I was actually, I was going to put another one. It's actually funny that you mentioned Wolfenstein because I literally just finished Wolfenstein 2 like a couple of days ago. But outside of that, I think the 3 most important ones are I've been playing Dandara, Trials of Fear. Thank you, the Xbox Hub, for that.
Okay.
Murder by Numbers and Neo 2.
Let's start with the first because Dandara. That's been out already? That's been on the Game Pass, the original, was it? Is it the original?
Yeah, it's the Trials of... I should have mentioned that, yeah. Sorry. It's the Trials of Fear edition, which has got like extra DLC bosses and little challenges and things. It's not a huge pile different from the original, but honestly, the original's really good.
Yeah.
It's... Like, you kind of get to this point at the end, well, without spoilers or anything, just gameplay-wise, where you realize like how good that could work as a speedrunning game. Like, just... You realize, like, zooming through the first areas that took you an hour or half an hour to get through is really nice. Like, it gives that, like, typical Metroidvania, like, progression system, and it works really well, I think.
And
so,
is it like a platformer? Is it like what kind of game is it? I've been looking at it. I can't get a grip on it at all.
See, you can tell it was built for iPhone or like phones in general, because what it does is instead of platforming, you teleport from surface to surface. So sort of like a mix between the blink ability from Dishonored 2 and the gravity ability from VVV, like those two together almost.
Okay.
And you point somewhere and you jump. Sometimes it's a little bit clunky, to be honest, but when it works really well, and you're like flying around the place. It's an interesting system. I'd definitely give it a go just to see what you think to the gameplay mechanics.
Okay, good. I'm intrigued by that. And what was the... We'll go back to you. We'll go back to you for your second one. Let's go to James. James, what have you been playing? How many you got to talk about?
Well, the most important one I've got is Hidden Through Time.
Oh.
Which I'm going to explain in 2 words. Where's Wally?
I knew you were going to use those words.
It's basically, you get a scene, and you've got to find the items in the scene. So there'll be like a dinosaur scene, or Wild West, medieval. And you might have to find a dinosaur, or an egg, or a tiny key somewhere hidden. It's really relaxing.
But do you have a timer in this, or is it just as long as you want? Or
as much time as you've got, you can take.
What's the soundtrack like, if you don't mind me asking? I imagine
it's very basic and relaxing, but I'd recommend just putting some Spotify on or something, or a podcast. Yeah. A really good podcast like this one. But it gives you clues of where to find them as well if you get stuck. But yeah, it's just like Where's Wally.
I think it's probably good for the whole isolation thing, like just something calming. Yeah, I can see that.
It is. And visually, it's pleasant.
And how many scenes are there to play?
I believe it's 20.
Okay.
And it's 5 for each area, like medieval and Egyptian, stuff like that.
Right.
Am I right in saying you can make your own things and upload those or something?
And share them amongst people online, yeah.
Kind of cool.
People have made some really decent ones already. It's impressive what creative minds there are out there.
And is that out at the moment?
It certainly is.
Okay.
And I could tell you the price, but I can't remember.
Can't remember. No. Good.
Great, no?
What's it called again?
$6.49.
$6.49. That's a bargain.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm playing a game. One of the games is called InOps. And InOps is like a mobile game that came out about 4 years ago. I used to have my mobile. I can't remember what it's called. And InOps, you basically play a little kind of black furball with eyes. And I described it like the levels are like almost like a pinball machine. Like you're a pinball, and you're sort of like you can jump and sort of like roll through the level, and you wake up other InOps. That's what they're called. These little creatures, and they wake up and join you. And then you can maybe controlling 10 of them to get through a kind of maze or a puzzle level. Or you can join together as one big lump. And then you try to get to the end of the level.
I really like the art style. Like,
yeah.
I was looking into that, and it looks like a weird mix between sort of Effie from Ubisoft. Is it Effie, the kind of pinky game?
Yeah.
And Loco Roco from Nintendo.
That's
it reminds me of a weird switch between the two of them.
Do you know what it's? I think I've done a review and it'll be out soon. But the thing is, it's a handheld game. I think that's what it's designed for. So it's designed to be played on a Switch or mobile. And I think I had a game very similar to it on a mobile. So it's a really good game that you're on a train and you're commuting for a minute.
Yeah.
And you're going to go at a level, or you're on the loo.
Yeah.
At work. And it's really good for that. It's
like Gems of War.
Like Gems of War. But it's hard on an Xbox sometimes. You boot it up and you go, and it has one of those things that I'm talking about things I don't like. It's really fun. It's really inventive as well. And when it works, it's great. But it has that system when you're going through the levels and you have to get enough stars or enough InOps to unlock the next level, or unlock. So you're just swapping about all the time. That makes sense. It has that mobile phone thing like Angry Birds. So you need to get a perfect. So you end up having to replay. Yeah, a lot of levels, which I hate. But other people really like.
I think it's this kind of a strange tangent that just happened in my head. So you were describing it, and I was thinking about mobile games, and I've been like inside for the last week, sort of looking at YouTube or something, and I was just so expecting a Raid Shadow Legends plug. Like I was thinking how natural that was to my head, like for that to happen. Yeah. I don't know why.
There we go, we've done it. But yeah, it's good. It's all right. It's good. It's good. It's above average. Yeah,
that's about tenner, right? Around there, maybe 7
I
or
think
something.
I think you're right. I think it's about £8. I only seen it in dollars, but it's just under a tenner. It's worth a go. If you love that type of game, you like a puzzler, platform puzzler, and you like being infuriated at times, you'll love it.
Oh boy, do I!
Yeah, there you go. And what's another one you've been doing, Bentley? What's another one?
So there's Murder by Numbers on Neo 2. Which would you prefer to hear first?
Let's talk about Murder by Numbers, and let's finish with Neo 2.
Murder by Numbers is this. I don't know how to. It's sort of. Do you ever play Picross?
No, I haven't. But everyone else I know has. Yeah.
It's this wildly, like, weirdly addictive, like, just puzzle game. It's sort of like a strange mixture between like a Sudoku and those sort of an art game, I guess. Where you have to like draw in these things to draw a picture. And basically, on one hand, it's this like kind of cute, kind of weird visual novel about being a detective that involves like robots and drag queens and a bunch of like strange things in like the 80s. On the other hand, it's like a Picross game where you have to piece together evidence by drawing it, and then you have to use that evidence to bring it to people to accuse them of whatever the crime they did. So it's like Picross / Phoenix Wright / XYZ visual novel, and it's really cool.
Wow, it does sound really good. Sounds really intriguing.
That's about a tenner as well.
Right.
I would definitely recommend having a look at it. It's really weird, but really good.
I like the way it's mixing all the different styles as well. I like that.
Yeah, it does that well. You like, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but yeah, I did.
And is it got a good story? Is the story good? Is it just is the story is it just story in the background?
Well, I mean, like most visual novels, the story is sort of the centerpiece. It's good from what I've played, and the characters are good from what I've played, but I haven't finished it, in fairness.
No. Okay.
But from what I've played, I'd say good. Yeah, I'd say pretty like really solid actually. There's a lot of kind of enjoyable characters and a nice like weird world building. You know,
Okay.
the very kind of visual novel types.
Okay, great. Thank you. James, your second one.
Well, it is One Punch Man,
Oh,
a hero nobody knows. And you probably still won't know after this game's come out. It's a fighting game, like most of the anime games are.
yeah.
It's up to 3 versus 3 in characters, so you can tag each other in and perform some really crazy moves, fire off cannons, and anything a superhero can do. That's what you'll see in this.
Ooh.
But it probably might have had is that the main guy can kill anyone in one punch. So that's tricky in a fighting game.
But do you play as the One Punch Man, or does?
No, you've got your own hero
Oh, okay,
for most of it. That's how they've got around it.
right.
But he can turn up. And if he's part of your team, you get him in there, and it is literally one punch done.
Wow.
So it's a case of waiting till he gets there.
Does it have a similar humor to the anime, like that kind of?
Very much so.
Oh, nice.
Very dry. Very
Dry humor. Yeah.
It's really good in capturing the essence of the anime.
That's good. That's pretty much all you'd want from that.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Well, because I don't know anything about anime, and because I don't know, is it like is it like a Street Fighter game or something like that? Is that the dynamic, or is it like that other game you talked about last month? Has it got that feel to it? Are you?
It's like Jump Force.
Do you normally bring anime games into the podcast?
Oh my word!
I'm the only one that does.
Oh.
Well, I can join you next time if you like.
Good.
Oh my word!
I mean, Murder by Numbers isn't far from an anime game. Visual novels are quite similar.
Yeah. It's like a 3D fighter.
Okay.
So if you play Jump Force or Naruto,
Dragon Ball?
yeah, Dragon Ball, more Xenoverse than Kakarot,
Okay.
I'd say.
Is there upgrade systems and things? Is it very single player as well?
Yeah, there's a little bit of RPG, but not much. But it just gets a bit repetitive. The missions.
Yeah.
It's the only drawback. With the main drawback.
Don't all these games you've been playing get a bit repetitive?
Yeah,
Fighting
they're
games
very
would,
similar.
yeah.
They're
Right.
very similar.
Okay.
And it's quite annoying. I want someone to do something different.
Yeah.
Hopefully Sword Art when that comes out.
That's an MMO, right? Like the new one is an MMO. Yeah, that could be interesting.
They try something new.
Saying that though, MMOs get old quite quick too. So you might be stuck in the same pattern.
The same loop.
Wow. Okay.
There is a review.
Have you done
it? You can read it.
And how much did you give it? Can you say?
I give it a 3.5.
Okay.
That's not bad.
No, it's alright.
Okay, my next one that I've just played a little bit of is Memories of Mars. And Memories of Mars, I've only played a little bit of it so far, and I need to do a lot more of it, is very much like Ark Survival and that type of game. So you start... Yeah, it could be a chore. I've done a lot of these games, haven't I? I don't know why I've done a lot of these games. So you wake up in this, you're in a server, you wake up in this a Mars kind of like underground server, little lab place. You go out, you see these experiments, and then you out into Mars, and basically you're sort of grabbing rocks and you're making stuff straight away, like buildings or a gun or things to help you survive, basically. But it's not so much like, in Ark Survival when you're just sort of naked and you're trying to get shelter. It doesn't feel as hard as that, first of all.
Do you mean naked in the game or naked when you're playing it?
Naked when I'm playing it, of course.
I was going to say, I thought you meant that.
You want to be comfortable.
Yeah, I'm isolated. Yeah.
You left the clothes outside the quarantine, so you don't have any in there. It's like, oh no, my clothes.
Yeah. But I've not played much of it at all. So I've done like a couple of hours. I've done a let's play of the first hour, so that's out there. But
I look forward to watch.
it's pretty. I've actually quite enjoyed it, even though I've still. I think I don't feel with Ark Survival when I first played it. I did feel a bit lost. You know, what am I doing? What do I have to do now? Oh, there's a dinosaur. Oh, no, I'm dead. And in this one, it's a bit more handheld. The tutorial's quite good at the beginning.
Which helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you're kind of what you need to do,
Ease you
what
into
you need
it.
to get. Yeah, and that's so there's something quite nice. But I'll talk about it a bit more when I know a bit more. But yeah, that's coming out soon. I think I'll be a review next week. And let's finish on this. I'm very intrigued by the PlayStation 4 game. What's it called again?
Neo 2.
Neo 2.
Sorry, I just got distracted because I saw your next game on the list there. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I saw what you're getting next. And I just sort of was like, ooh, what's that? It's like, oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
Neo 2 is sort of, it's very in line with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, sort of a action RPG with sort of very difficult, kind of very methodical combat, very sort of fast-paced, and actually, you know, I would say it's closer to Bloodborne or something like that. It's a little bit quicker and kind of utilizes dodging towards them a lot. Like with Dark Souls, the key is to dodge to the side or dodge back, like to get out of the way. Whereas oftentimes with Bloodborne and Neo, you have to dodge into the attacks to get behind them and stuff. And it's incredible. I basically bought my PS4 a couple of years ago just to play Neo 1, and I don't regret it. Neo 2 is really, really good from what I've played, and I probably won't stop talking about it for the next week.
From what I've seen of it visually, it's a bit of an upgrade, isn't it? From what I've seen of some bits of gameplay and stuff. I know the other one was good, but...
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to get to. Neo 1, back in 2017, I think, February 2017, it still looked like really good. But yeah, this one does look better. It has the character customization system now, so it's not like a voice protagonist. It's a little bit different. The narrative works. And also you end up with really strange like cutscenes where you've got like some dude with random things on him and everyone else is like stylized to the era. Like you just poke out like a sore thumb or whatever. But yeah, it looks a decent bit better. It's got like more customization and stuff in it. And if you have the time, I would absolutely recommend going and playing the first one. It's really, really good. Is it
hard? Is it really hard, or is it?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. It's like if you can make your way through Dark Souls, you'll have no problem with Neo. But see, I think to go on a little bit of a tangent, I think the main issue with Dark Souls isn't that Dark Souls is really that hard. I mean, it's hard fairly objectively. You know, they do more damage, you take more damage, things like that. But I think the main thing is just getting used to the way the gameplay systems work. You know, like your dodges, you sort of can infinitely move through attacks. Yeah. So you never take damage when you're dodging, and that's a really important thing to learn. Once you know that, you realize like the game becomes much easier, and it's sort of like that with Neo. You might struggle a bit at the start, but once it clicks with you, suddenly everything feels quite easy again. You know, and it's not easy, but it's certainly easier. So I would definitely advise putting the effort in and just looking at how things work. Like Neo is a little bit more complex than Dark Souls. It's got different stances you can take, and that affects like the speed of your weapon and things like that. And you can also change stance midway through combat. So you could see someone's using a high stance and you might want to switch last second just to get a quicker hit in or something. Like it's a lot of really cool things like that. But yeah, I'd say it's hard, but not really as hard as you might think from the first hour of gameplay. I think maybe doing an open beta like they did last month might not be the best idea, because I imagine a lot of people played it and gave up.
Okay. PS4
it's really good.
have got a lot of exclusives this year, haven't they? They've done, you know, they've really ramped it up, haven't they? You know, we had that. We've got the Final Fantasy coming out in April. The Last of Us 2 May. Then you're gonna.
I don't think Final Fantasy exclusive, is it?
Oh, maybe it isn't. I thought it was.
I think that's multiplayer. Yeah.
Is it?
But Last of Us is a definite hard hitter. They've got
Ghost of
Tsushima. That looks really good. Yeah, Sucker Punch. Yeah, that looks good.
And they've had Dreams in February, and have they something else as well? That's
Dreams is adorable and lovely, and definitely an isolation type game. Like you'll just
exactly.
Yeah.
If you can get past the tutorial. That's my problem. There's always.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Dreams is more difficult than Neo 2.
There
Funnily
you go.
enough.
There you go.
That's a hot take for you.
I like that. Okay, right. That's games. That's what we've been playing. Now, let's have anything that's caught our eyes in the news, apart from the obvious, but in the game news. James, you've seen something, I think.
Yeah. Because it's a game that I've never. Well, it's a new idea for a game,
Yeah.
and it's called The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. And basically, it's been developed with the Canadian Institute for the Blind, and it's going to focus entirely on using sound and controller feedback, vibrations,
Okay.
to give you an idea of what's around you. You have to survive, and it's like adapt to the environment just by the sound. You don't get to see anything.
And there's a trailer, isn't there? That's really good at describing it on the on the Xbox. Yeah.
It's going to be incredible if it works, because it's inclusive of everyone.
Mm.
You know, if you haven't got great sight, or if you have, you still be able to enjoy it, hopefully, if the sound's spot on. But it's an action adventure. And that's coming in
Q2? Right?
Yeah. So that's Xbox and PC.
When's Q2? Q2's like April to June or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it might get put back, you never know.
I would love to see a review done by a blind or visually impaired person on that. I'd love to see their thoughts, and because I imagine it's just an incredible experience for someone like that,
Definitely. Oh, thank you, James. That looks good. But Bentley, anything that's seen your eye last week?
See, I was looking at something. I think you can take this in two different ways. You could take it as a bit of a wholesome kind of thing, or bring up more cynical things. But I saw NVIDIA is sort of they've updated this system. They've been using this system for years, called like Focus at Home or something, where gamers around the world can put their PCs to trying to fight the coronavirus.
Wow.
Folding at home. Sorry, I don't know what I called it. I don't know if I called it that or not.
we were just nodding alongside you. I liked it though. Yeah.
But yeah, they put it in. See, I think sometimes you see a lot of fighting in these kind of communities, and you see like people smashing their PlayStation because Horizon Zero Dawn's coming to PC and stuff. And I think it's lovely to see like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of gamers like putting their PCs to use to try and fight it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's sort of I think it's a sort of a compilation system that puts together folds, I think they call them, so that scientists and doctors and things can get to information much quicker. So it'll test these things and then get them back to them very quick. And it's really cool just to see these people using their consoles and their PCs to work. Like it's lovely to see how these crises kind of bring people together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the great thing about it. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to see that. Like you said, it's like the gaming community, when they all do get together for things like that, it's good. It's good. It warms the heart in these darkened times. Does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, good. The only other bit of news that I've got is just interesting at the moment because all the cinemas have closed at this point. And so all the schedule of films that are out at this moment have got a short sign. So you've got this thing that's happening at the moment, which is The Invisible Woman that we talked about last week. That's out still at the cinema. That's going to, from tomorrow or Friday, you'll be able to get it. You'll be able to rent it as a family, it says. So I think it'd be $20. And you can all watch it at home, or you can bring as many people around to watch it as you want.
Presumably, don't do that at this moment in time. Don't bring everyone round to your house.
Don't bring everyone round, no.
A mass gathering.
That's a good point. Just create another cinema at home. 400 people. Yeah, that's not good. But you can watch it, and that there is a principle about, and there's a lot of games, there's a lot of films that they're giving now early video release. So like we know Birds of Prey is going to come out on Friday. And get
I haven't
early
seen that
release.
yet. I've heard it's pretty
I
decent.
think it'd be good. Yeah, and it's a really interesting time for film. Like they are, and I think this might for games as well, because games at this point, if you've got a game that's nearly ready, especially an indie game, get it out now because people
Yeah,
want
definitely.
as much as they can to do. It's a time when we just want as much entertainment at home at this moment.
And
Yeah,
I think Doom and Animal Crossing dropped in a couple of game stores across UK and America today because of that.
Yeah.
Which, like, it is a good idea. Less people in on the Friday, more people can go home, get it out. And, I mean, it's nice to play games at this time, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Animal Crossing. Like, sorry, I might have spoiled something for later. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's all right. But I think my friend, I've got a friend of mine, and he's an old friend of mine. He's been in a theatre show, and it's had to be cancelled, and he's back at home and he's with his family, and he said to me, he's quite stressed because of the news. He's quite anxious guy for all that, and he said I went on Red Dead, and I gave him Red Dead he's got my copy of Red Dead, and he said I went on Red Dead last night, and he said I went Red Dead and I didn't do any of the missions. I did one mission, but I just went and did some camping and ate food by a fire for ages. And he said, but it really relaxed me. It really took me, and it was something about that. He thought, oh yeah, I can just do this in this world and escape for a while. There's something quite important about that. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean that is a great game for it as well. You've got the kind of lovely snow graphics, you've got the hunting mechanics, and the real-time horse testicles.
Yes,
so those three combined, you've got an immersive experience.
That's all you wanted to do to survive the apocalypse. It's good.
That's the magic 3.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go. We're gonna go very soon because we're running out of time. But before we go, what are we looking forward to next week? Bentley, what are you looking forward to?
I'm going to name 2 then.
Yeah.
I've already named Animal Crossing. I mean, it's a lovely game. You can just sit there taking the music and stuff and just, I don't know, it's hard to be angry or anxious when you're playing it, It's just so lovely.
Yeah.
And the other one is the complete opposite of that, Moons of Madness, which is, I believe that's out either Tuesday or Wednesday, I think around sort of mid next week. It's a sort of a survival horror. Well, not really survival. It's sort of a cinematic first-person horror experience based on sort of a Lovecraftian Mars. And I love cosmic horror. I don't know how well it's going to do it, but I think cosmic horror, when done right, is one of my favorite genres of horror. And it looks really interesting and intriguing. And the trailers are the right type of spooky. Like they don't give away too much. So I'm hoping it's great.
I played a little bit of EGX, I think. Yeah, so
what did you think?
I liked it. I did sort of just play what they wanted to show me, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Good. I'd like to play that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Moons of Madness and Animal Crossing. That's good. What about you, James?
I'm just happy not to die, to be honest. That's all you can hope for.
That's all you want this week.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what
It's going to take each week as it comes.
That's good. I like that. Well, thank God we're not ending at that point.
Oh, damn.
I think I'm looking forward to... Oh, Bleeding Edge is out. Is Bleeding Edge out on Game Pass tomorrow? Have I made this up?
Is it?
Or have I made this up?
I hope it is, because I'm looking forward to trying that, actually.
I really want to give it a go, yeah. I think it would be interesting. So I think it might be out next week. I'm pretty sure it is. And I think it might be on Game Pass tomorrow, but don't.
24th.
24th.
We should look
next
into
week. Is that next week?
24th.
Yeah, 24th.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, we should look at maybe getting that together. We could do a little Xbox Hub team.
I was about to suggest that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good plan, isn't it?
That's a good idea.
James would vouch for my
Think
skill.
about going Gems of War.
Maybe you could do both at the same time.
You probably could.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to carry Gareth.
Yeah, he's got to carry me. So, yeah. I'm keen.
Just take his controller off him.
We'd
it's like
love
when
to.
you give your little brother an extra controller that's not turned on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should try that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, James. Thank you so much, Bentley. Thank you for the first one. You did great for the first one. And we'll see you very soon, though. Thank you, guys. And be safe. Wash your hands and all that stuff. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You can find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search The Xbox Hub on Facebook.